Today we're going to teach you 3 football drills that you can use to improve your off-the-ball movement. Because, yes, it is important to score goals and dribble and pass and all the other stuff you do with the ball. But if you want to become a truly great football player, you also need to be a clever football player and move even when you don't have the ball. And today's drills are going to teach you exactly that. Of course, you'll need to bring a friend, but that also means that you can take turns and both of you can actually go and improve this. So make sure you subscribe to the channel with the notifications on, and let's go and do some off-the-ball movement. The first drill here is basically a triangle of cones designed to force you to constantly move after you've passed the ball. See, the key here is that you need to find open space around your opponents, get out of your opponent's shadow, so to speak, so you can get the ball safely without being pressured right away. Now then, when you get the ball, you pass it back to your teammate, and then you immediately move into a new position to get away from the opponents. So basically, I come out, the corner's my opponent, Phil passes me the ball, I pass it back to him, I immediately move into a new position, directional touch, go back, and then I pass the ball back to Philip. That's one round. See, the thing is that to keep things match-like and intense, Phil is just going to continue with round 2 right away. So when I've passed the ball back to him here, I'm just going to do a little body feint. I'm going to come back, continue, get the ball, directional touch, back to Philip, body feint, and so forth. Next up, we have a drill designed to help you time your deep runs better in order to beat the offside trap. So basically you set up a defensive line of cones, the blue cones, you set up a square in the middle for your teammate, and you set up a cone right in front of you. That is your opponent. So basically you start off by dribbling towards the opponent, you take a touch to the side, and you pass the ball towards the middle to Phil. After that, you're gonna accelerate in order to make a deep run, but you have to be wary, because if you just keep sprinting, just go towards the goal, eventually you're gonna be offside, and that sucks. You have to beat the offside line. So because Phil has to get the ball, he has to round his opponent in the square. Well, you also have to time your run. So when you get to the defensive line, you basically run a little wide, and then when you reach the line, instead of running deep, you basically run along the line in order to stay on side. Then you look up, you meet Phil's gaze, you call for the ball, he calls for the pass, makes the deep pass, and you go and score the goal. Do this 5 times, then switch it up, so you both learn how to time that deep run. The third and final drill is a rather small one, but also a pretty effective one if you're a midfielder and you need to play yourself out of a tight situation. And as we all know, that can be pretty difficult sometimes. Well, for the drill, you have 2 cones relatively close to each other, one out wide, and then you have Phil in the middle with a cone or an opponent in front of him. So the drill goes like this. You pass the ball to Philip. You of course move to the other side. You get the ball back, move again, get the ball back, little directional touch, take it back past the cone. And then when you get the ball here, or at any point where you decide, you can see Phil is relatively far from his opponent. You pass him the ball, you call turn so he can open up. Then you make the deep run, you call for the ball, and then you're away. So basically, it looks like this. Yep. 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 Turn. Deep. But guys, we're talking about becoming a really good football player here. And these drills are relatively rudimentary, meaning that you gotta get used to the fact that you don't always get the ball back from your teammate immediately when you move into space. My point here is that when you've made the pass, you should expect that your first teammate plays on the third man. So when you've passed the ball, you run deep. You don't necessarily get the ball right away, but you keep on running, either to open up for a pass from a third teammate or a fourth teammate, but also maybe just to grab attention from the defenders. You make a threatening deep run, you make a lot of noise, that's going to draw attention to you, opening up space for some of your other teammates to run into the deep channels. So my main point here is pass the ball and keep on running, looking for that empty space, and you're going to be a much better footballer. In other words, guys, you should never, ever stand still when you've passed the ball, because if you get it back, it's gonna be the easiest thing in the world to close down. So go out with a friend or two friends, go do these 3 drills a couple of times, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna see an improvement relatively quickly, where you don't really have to think too much about it, but your body just instinctively starts to move when you've passed the ball. But guys, what do you want me to teach you next? As always, let me know in the comment section right down below, and then keep in mind that if you want to gear up like a boss in the Adidas X Ghosted 0.1 or the Puma Ultra 1.1s like Phil is wearing, you can get everything you want via the link to unisportstore.com right over there. Also, don't forget to go to the playlist right down there to learn how to improve as a footballer even further. And with that said, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.